How's it going, guys? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting and welcome back to Muv-Luv Monday, where we are continuing through Muv-Luv Total Eclipse. Now, last episode was interesting because we got the beta war, which for a lot of these guys, it's still kind of in the back seat because they're focused on the back line, working on tech and development and all that stuff. But we saw some of the incursions of beta forces making in the Russian territory. And then we get to see how, they've invited us on a real live fire test against beta coordination in Russia territory. And yeah, it'll be interesting because it'll be Yuuya's first real combat experience, which it blows my mind, but at the same time, he's been so specialized, it kind of makes sense. So I'm curious to see how that's all going to pan out. Yui, of course, is adorable. Someone pointed out that they took this character that's so tough girl, very tsundere type of control freak, and they've immediately just super dairy her and super just hyped up her adorableness, which is good. But I feel like she could have gone longer before we really cracked that shell. It would have been, I think, a better flip if we were really used to her very super determined, super focused version, and then got to see this really cute side to her. But at the same time, I think it is probably good to be on the same page because it's very clear that Yui and Yuuya are very caught up in stuff. They're great at their jobs and they're great in their roles, but they also are naive in their own ways, and I think that that's really what they're trying to get across right now is that as characters, they have no idea just how deep these wells go, and that they're just at surface level because they both feel very accomplished. They both feel very maybe not perfect. Yui, especially, she feels very overwhelmed. She feels underqualified. Yuuya probably thinks he's overqualified, but at the same time, it's this whole kind of dynamic of where they feel rather confident in where they are right now and what they stand for. And I think that this story is going to be about shaking that and really having them to figure out what do they fight for. Because again, that's kind of the prevalent message of almost all Muv-Luv stories. Ultimately comes down to why do you do what you do? Why do you fight? Why do you resist? Why do you work? Because working for the sake of working, living for the sake of living can only get you so far. There needs to be something else, and that's some kind of pillar to hold you up, to push you through the hard stuff, the really hard stuff. So we're gonna have to see how that plays out. But anyway, I have no idea what's exactly happening today. I just know that we're kind of just probably start angling towards that operation in Russia. But yeah, we're just here playing some nice calming music. Looks like it's morning time. We'll see how this all plays out. So let's get started, shall we? Crap, the bus just left. What terrible timing. The next bus will be here in 15 minutes. It's going to be running half an hour. I'm going to be running half an hour late at least. Well, whatever. Not like the guys can't have any fun without me. I'll just tell them to bring me up to spit. Huh?
Yuuya!
Hey, Nya. Why are you here? Fancy seeing you here. Wandering off on your own again?
お散歩だよ。綺麗なものを見て回るの。
You're so happy all the time. Oh, alright. So where's Kriska? You guys aren't together?
私だけ。クリスカはみんなとお話ししてるよ。
Talking with the others? Like talking with the superior and attending a briefing? Are you sure it's alright? This place is deserted.
大丈夫。お散歩は私のお仕事。
Okay, sure. It's your job. You got yourself quite a sinecure. Am I just not sure? That doesn't seem like a word I've ever heard before. Quite a gig if walking around is your job. I'm jealous. Man, she's so innocent. Well, who could imagine such a precious little thing could actually be one half of the infamous Scarlet Twins? I know that for a fact, yet when I talk with her like this, I find myself doubting it's true.
ユウヤはどこへ行くの？お家に帰るの？
Nah, it's a little fort. Say, wanna come with? My treat?
ユウヤとお食事？
Sure will. I'll pick a place with a vegetarian menu since I know that's your thing. Oh, but there's no need to force yourself to come or anything.
行く！
Alright, so she's a vegetarian. I wonder if that's because of that psychic link. It's one of the things, it's actually one of the aspects I really enjoyed about the book series Aragon. Not the greatest book series. Really great for like a middle school kid, but I wouldn't call it like prime novelizations, but they're great. It's a great stepping stone to getting into really high fantasy stuff. But one of the things I really loved about that series was they highlighted in the first story arc a kind of aspect of the elves of that universe, how they all are vegetarian. And it kind of just seems like this quirk thing, whatever. But then they go into like the way that their magic system works. A lot of it, like you draw energy from your own body to cast a spell, and so you can actually kill yourself if you push yourself too hard and draw too much energy from you. He then learns in like the second or third book, I think it's the second book, that you can technically use life force from other things. So like he's kind of taught how to connect with the minds and the like the sub minds still, but like the minds and the essence of other living things. In a way he can communicate with them, in a way he can see things from their perspective. He can kind of get a sense of their like existence, like what it's like through their eyes. Like we're talking like ants and trees and everything. And so then he's instructed to do something where he goes into this clearing. He's told to connect with everything because he's been practicing connecting like with just the world around him. And so he connects with all like the flowers and the grass and the bugs and the trees in the area. And then he's told to cast a spell while connected because that's something he had never done before. So he casts a spell and everything around him dies because it sucks all the life force out of the things around him and uses it to fuel the spell rather than using his own energy in his body. And he's horrified because he feels all of it dying, like as if it's him dying, because he's part of their, like he's linked to their minds, the essence of their souls. And he goes sick, he throws up, he's distraught, he's crying, and he goes to his mentor and he's like, "What did you make me do? That was horrifying." And then he was like, look, you need to understand, like you have this ability, but you need to know the cost of it. And like that's why like the elves are all vegetarians, is because they know what it's like to live as an animal, and so it's hard for them to kind of bring themselves to hurt the animal willingly. And even plants, it even talks about how like some elves have actually starved themselves to death because they can't even bring themselves to kill plants, having felt what it's like for plants. So that weird tangent is an interesting concept. The idea that like you develop a bond with something when you connect with it on such an intimate level. What if Inya is the same? Like what if she can just connect innately, like passively without meaning to, with living animals, and maybe even she can still sense residual like emotions or emotional echoes from unliving material. It's like someone brings out a steak and you still hear it bleeding and cry as it's like dying. I think it'd put me off of eating meat too. Surprisingly quick to decide, aren't we? We'll have a real gung-ho bad A over here. Oh, she's like, yep.
貴様、何をしている?
Huh? Oh, it's just you. Well, it should be obvious what I'm doing.
クリスカ、
ちょっと待っていて、イーニャ。私はブリッジス少尉と話があるの。
うん。
一体何の真似だ? 貴様、イーニャをどうする気だ?
Can't I just take her to go and do something fun? What the heck are you on about? I intend to treat her to dinner. That's all.
飯? 接触義務のことか?
Wow. What the fetch is wrong with this broad? Yeah, we surface pilots have a duty to keep our bodies in peak condition by eating well. Come on, she's making it sound like as if we're cattle. You've got nothing to worry about. I know Inya doesn't eat meat. Jeez, you're so worried. Why not join us? We can pick up where we left off in Guadalupe. But don't get the wrong idea. I'm not hitting on you. You're going to be the third wheel here. Inya's the one I care about. Yes! Uh-oh. Nope. He was just joking, but she won't take that as a joke. She never does. What, no comeback? Come on, you gotta say something or I'm gonna look like a bad guy. God, seriously, I don't know what you're making such a big deal out of this. I'm not dragging her against her will or anything. Besides, I'm not the one to force you to hang out with us. I'm not the one to force you to hang out with everyone else. I wouldn't want you guys to have to do stuff you don't wanna. That's how that feels. I know how that feels.
それほど信じられるというのか。それともそこまでの輝きだとでも。
They're absolutely talking to each other. Huh? What was that?
行こう。 いいにゃ。
Hey, wait a sec. We're still talking.
私たちは貴様たちとは慣れ合わない。
They're so cute. I think I like both of them. Kriska has a headache, but I feel like there's a deep down in all that. Is it branding the right word? The conditioning. There's a very caring individual there, and then Inya's adorable. How can you not be a fan of Inya?
西側の大敗的な文化で堕落させ、開示でもする気か。グアドループの交換会とやらと同じだ。
You're trying to corrupt us. You're trying to sway it. No, calm down. Right on cue. That's what you expect from one of the public faces of the Communist Party, and boy, does she always come through. Talk about brainwashed. This has nothing to do with the Soviet Union, the West, or whatever. Why does everything have to have an ulterior motive for you? Are you stupid or something?
バカ。貴様が何を言っているかわからん。
She's not even saying, like, I'm not stupid. She's like, what does me being stupid have to do with this? This is the UN base. Socializing with other pilots is the whole point. Why would you go out of your way to draw a line between East and West?
貴様こそバカだろ。アメリカと日本を線引きしている自覚がないのか。
Oh, trust me.
高村中尉に対する言動。私が知る限り、貴様が語る線引き云々に説得力はない。
Oh. Ooh, she's got you there. Ooh.
貴様、自分がアメリカ人と言ったな。であれば、同盟国である日本と、潜在的仮想的である我が国に対する姿勢は、是正してしかりではないのか。
So they really still have a Cold War attitude about that? Like, I understand tension. I understand a level of distrust and disassociation. But are they considering each other like borderline enemies? I mean, considering what we saw in like the day after with how like the French, backstab betrayal, like it makes sense that like those national borders really have a lot of meaning still, and that if it weren't for the cosmic level threat that the beta pose, it easily could turn into absolutely war between these two. But like, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, really. Like, we have so much bigger fish to fry. I can understand distrust. I can understand not wanting to be 100% cooperative, but I don't think you should see them as a potential enemy. Not when the beta are around. Like, with beta there, that just shouldn't be a thing. Geopolitics and individuals can't be.
説明など必要ない。貴様と高村中尉が何を理由に反目し合おうが、どうでもいいことだ。
No, wait, we're not antagonistic or whatever it is you're suggesting.
個人的な親の因縁話も興味はない。事実だけを照らし合わせれば、貴様の言動は矛盾している。それだけだ。
Again, she's got you, bro. She's got you. Can't get a read on this chick. Acts like a ditz one second, surprisingly sharp the next. Still.
憎もうが軽蔑しようが、親がいるというだけで幸せなことだと思う。
She's saying she doesn't care about my parents' background, but then what was with that pained look on her face?
貴様たちがいくら凶楽にふけろうが構わない。私たちに類が及ばない限り、勝手にするがいい。
Not like we've ever needed your permission, but you're right. It was stupid of me to ask you out.
ようやく自覚したようだな。自分がバカであること。
Oh gosh, you're not making this easy. Watch it. Why did commies not understand sarcasm? Does everything have to be taken at face value?
プロミネンス計画に参画している以上、東であろうが西であろうが、任務の重要性に差はないはずだ。
Huh? You're not done talking?
祖国奪還の悲願を胸に戦う前線の同志に、より強力な戦術機を送り届ける。私たちはそのために、1秒でも早く計画を完遂する責務を負っている。
Yeah.
それは全てに優先する。西側でも当然それは同じだと思っていたが。
Come on, though, we do!
前線で将兵たちが命を失っているこの瞬間に、あたかもベータなど存在しないかのように振る舞い、堕落した風俗にふける貴様たちは、バカ以外に形容しがたい。
Okay, you know what? She actually kind of has a point there. I was calling that out too. I was just like, it seems a little weird that they're being so cushy when things are like so bad in the world. I mean, it's one thing to be like, look, we need to have some kind of morale boost. We can't be doom and gloom all the time. But at the same time, it is shocking how little they ever talk about the beta threat besides like a nebulous, like, oh, the enemy. And again, that's not something that I'm too worried about with most of the people that we've seen. Most of them have seen the frontline combat, and most of them understand the burden. I'd say like Yui especially, she's constantly worrying about that threat. Teresa is just such an airhead. She probably only thinks about it like when it comes up. And the others, like, I could see them like it's on their mind, but like at the same time, they're allowing themselves to be themselves. You know, like you can be a human who enjoys being a human and still be worried. But Yuuya, I really don't think he quite gets it. Huh. Forgive me for tuning half that bullcrap out, but I'm sick of hearing you spout your propaganda. Are you sure you're a surface pilot, not part of the UN's PR department? Well, if anything, you're right that I'm stupid. Only an idiot would see the positive of how the Soviets do things, but hey, since you want to lump the rest of Argus in with me, let me tell you a little something. Call it blowing off steam, debasing yourself, indulging in capitalist depravity, whatever you want. Fact is, you can't perform up to standard unless you're healthy in body and mind. That's why the guys fool around. It's a pain in the butt, I'll give you that. I wish I had more time to myself without having to hang out with them outside of our assignments. But if there's one thing I've learned during my time in Alaska, it's that work hard, play hard mentality does wonders to encourage new ideas and breakthroughs. And maybe I'm giving your comrades too much credit, but I doubt they'd want to be forced into some high-tech flying coffin because the people in charge of building them lacks flexibility. Kind of a hypocritical thing for me to say, considering I insisted on disabling the crew protection function to meet the required target values, but oh well. My entire spiel was basically me mouthing off at my old self for 2 months ago, wasn't I? Self-awareness stings like a bee. If you guys think you can build one kick-A TSF with cold logic and grim determination alone, hey, more power to you. But it's time to face the facts. There are 0 Eastern Bloc TSFs that outperform American-made machines. I don't know, dude. You saw what they were able to do in theirs. What's got you looking so smug? Out with it. She wants to say there's actually one, right? The Terminator? Well, I'm more than happy to prove her wrong. Just name time and place. Yeah, it's true. Let's hope so.
行こう。いいにゃ。
じゃあね、ゆうや。
See ya. This sucks. Here I thought we were going to have an honest conversation for once. I don't know, though. That was pretty honest. It was just brutal and cold, but it was honest. Can't believe her crap talk the guys on my flight got me so heated. Fooled me once and all that.
すまなかった。
But she was so meek back then. For the motherland or the mission, it makes no difference. If these two keep working themselves to the bone, sooner or later they'll burn out, or worse. Here we are. Ah, there's no way to live. Ah, hits the spot.
なんだなんだ我らがエースはスカーレットツインの撃墜に失敗してやけ飲みってか
Drinking myself into a coma? Not a lightweight.
けど、よりにもよって、スカーレットツインを飲みに誘うとは、いくらなんでも分が悪いだろ
If
うに。
Kriska hadn't stepped in, it absolutely would have, like, absolutely would have come. I'm telling you, that's not what happened. I just...
はいはい、そうだな。
Oh, shush your face.
ゆうやがあんなのを本気で狙うわけないだろ。趣味悪いっつーの。
Busty the Snowman. It took processing for me to actually comprehend that. That is one of the most amazing... That is a great nickname. Oh my gosh.
お前ばっかじゃねえのあのちっこいのはともかくクリスカってやつは結構いい女だぜ
I got like the little one, sure, that'd be a crime. It's like, yep, she's young.
あんな父がでかいだけの小悪女のどこがいいのさ。だいたいゆうやはね、無人島で二人きりになったって、あの女には手を出さなかったんだ。あんたみたいな変態とは違うんだよ。
いやいや、実はユウヤ、あのちっこい方が好みらしいぜ。
Alright, so now you're just calling me out as a pedophile. What the fetch?
お、なるほど だからゆい姫にも興味ゼロ。そういうことだったのか。
No, stop with these false accusations. Would you stop?
ちょっと何なのかしらね、さっきから。わざわざ鉄のカーテンの向こうを覗きに行かなくても、目の前にいい女が揃ってるってのに。
Oh, so you want me trying to peek around your iron curtains? That sounds weird.
で、それは当然タリサのことも含んでるんだよな。
当たり前じゃない。ねえ、ゆうや。私たちのどこがスカーレットツインに負けてるっていうのかしら？
I know, she's just flat out calling us out for it.
ゆうやはちっこいのがいいらしいから、タリサはともかくステラには分が悪いぜ。
Would you stop?
なんだ。もう少し乗ってこいよな。思春期のお子様じゃあるまいし。
No, what is that? I don't want to hear it from you. I don't care how big or small, if they're big or small. Right now, I'm just not interested in women.
Eh?
Yeah, I'm interested in Vincent, my main man.
ゆうやって、そうだったの。
And what's wrong with that? What did you say? What did I say?
あのよ、お前、まさか俺のことそんな目で見てやしないだろうな。うわぁ、ケツのあたりがムズムズするぜ。って、ヴィンセント、もしかして？
He's the best guy here.
あ、いや、違うぜ。俺にそんな趣味はねえ。
Whoa, wait a minute. You stupid son of a... Yeah, I didn't mean like that. What I meant to say is the Type 94 second is the only one on my mind these days.
お前、女でも人間でもねえやつに。むしろもっと危ねえだろうが。
Yuuya, you just keep walking into these traps, man. You just gotta just shut up. Darn it, VG, would you stop? We're gonna have to step outside.
はいはい、冗談だって。だからもう少し乗ってこいっての。チェリーボーイってわけでもねえんだろ？
Women are a pain in the butt. First, they approach you with their own image of what you should be like. Then, when you fail to live up to their imaginary standards, they're lost interest. The next minute, they're gone. And you can't complain to them, as naturally everything's your fault. Nonsensical creatures. I'd much rather deal with the TSF than put up with that bullcrap any day. Thank you very much. If he's not, he sounds very incelish, and that's kind of scary. Come on, Yuuya, please don't be part of that group. Besides, even outside the context of a relationship, I have absolutely no clue what women are thinking on a day-to-day basis. Maybe that's why I'm drawn to Enya. She's just a little kid, an open book. Sure, she sometimes has those crazy extreme reactions, but that's normal for a girl her age, I guess.
お前、ずいぶん女に恵まれてなかったんだな。
It's not luck, he's just not very good.
あら、男女の問題は片方だけに原因があるわけじゃないのよ。
Probably.
ゆうやは不器用だったんじゃないのかしら。
それはあるかもしれないな。不器用な上に臆病だからさ、トゲをむき出しにして相手を寄せつけないところがあるんだよな。
Vincent, please don't call me out. Like, that's super accurate. Hey, what's with the group therapy?
それいつものゆうやそのまんまじゃん。あのなあ、男の解消として、せめて女の前では大きく構えるぐらいしろよな。包容力の一つも見せないなんて最悪じゃん。むっつりなるなんていいもんじゃないぞ。
Are you implying something here?
あら、大丈夫よ。そういうのを好む女だっているわよ。たまには。
I also think like the dark and broody type is like it's one of those things where it's like it has like a surface level appeal, but just like a tsundere in anime, it's like some people are always like, oh, tsunderes are the best. It's like if you actually met one in real life, it would be really difficult to like them to like them through the bullcrap long enough to get to that like the heart of gold that's there. The only reason why it works in anime is because we get to see that heart of gold, whether because we get like glimpses into their like the way they're thinking about things, or just the fact that like it's not real. If you actually met a girl whom anytime you like implied you might be hitting on her, she literally punched you in the face, there's no way you'd find that. Well, okay, some people might find that attractive, but most people wouldn't.
そういう物好きが寄ってきたら、しっかり釣り上げなきゃダメだぞ。わかったか？
Who was that? Like, who was that? That didn't look. Was that supposed to be Stella? It looked like no. It looked like a girl with longer hair. Who was that? Kind of sounds like maybe a former girl that we were interested in. Shut up, will ya? Can we change the subject to literally anything else, please? Like Vincent here. How come you're late too? He said he arrived just before I did.
ああ、出かけにさ、試験スケジュールが組み直しになるって連絡があってな。
Ooh, juicy details much? Seriously, not again?
まったくだ。上は一体何をこそこそやってるんだ？
そうだよ。うちらは何の問題もなく、むしろ想像以上のペースでいい感じに進めてるってのに。
もちろん、それはお偉方もわかってるさ。実は今回のスケジュールの組み直しは、その集大成みたいなものなんだよ。
Yeah.
どういうこと？
近々、外装を94セカンド専用設計の強化モジュールに換装するらしくて、それがちょっと大ごとになりそうなんだ。
What on earth could that be? Proprietary enhancement modules. They're improving the exterior components.
ああ、俺らが来る前から動いていたものが、やっと上がってくるらしいぜ。
Exterior components. I mean, maybe they're going to be adding wing blades. Maybe more articulating, like, restocking arms. Because remember, like, one of the things that makes the Muv-Luv TSF so interesting compared to what I've seen in other TSFs is that they actually have, like, 6 arms essentially, so it's almost like they're almost like spiders. But the idea is that the secondary arms are about like equipping a secondary set of weapons and also restocking on ammunition and magazines and such. So it's interesting. Like, we don't really get to see a full like TSF really. Like, most of the time we see it from the front, it's when it's fighting and being awesome, but we know the secondary and tertiary arms and limbs are there. So I wonder if there's going to be something about that.
仕様的に見て、94セカンドはベースモデルとしての開発しか進んでいなかったんだ。換装が予定されている強化モジュールを加えて、初めて帝国軍の要求仕様にかなうんだよ。
Interesting.
はあ？
そのモジュールは、ベースモデルの仕上がりに合わせた調整が必要だった。調整って範囲じゃ済まないこともやってたみたいだけど、あのハイネマンさんだからな。だから、それをいつ投入するか、タイミングを測っていたらしいんだ。
Right. Okay. I get you. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
前回のスケジュール組み直しの時が本来のタイミング。でも、試験のスコアが予想以上にいいからって見送ったんだぜ。だから、むしろ喜ぶべきことだと思うけどな。
So overall, a good thing.
なるほど。そういう話なのね。
Still, why'd they keep that a secret from us? Wouldn't it make more sense to let the entire development team know?
それは俺にもわからんよ。整備連中だって知ってたのはごくわずかだし、上には上の。っていうか、多分、ハイネマンさんの意向だったんじゃないかな。
Maybe they didn't want the knowledge, especially the details of what these upgrades are going to consist of, to color and have them test with presumptions. You know, the idea is that they were trying to test the base framework, what they're getting, so like they needed to get like solid numbers of what they had to work with, because that would mean that whatever these enhancements are can be fine-tuned properly. And so, but if they had told them that these things were coming, and even especially if they told them like details of what these enhancements were going to be, it might actually incur a slight bias on the side of the pilot testers. So that honestly might be it. Maybe they were just trying to avoid any potential like subtle like subconscious bias going into the testing.
ありえるな。あのおっさん、戦術機のことになると常識も慣習も吹っ飛んでいっちまうみたいだからな。ああいうのを天才って言うんだろうけど、そんな人の思考なんか理解できねえよ。
盾ついて変わるものじゃなし、盾つくようなことでもなし、素直に喜びましょうよ。
Yeah, tell me about it.
そうそう。そんな細かいことどうでもいいじゃねえか。
Not like we have a choice.
考えてもみろ。ベースモデルであれだぜ。乾燥後の94セカンドは、どえらい高性能機になる可能性を秘めてるってことだぞ。
うわぁ、目キラキラしてる。
What did you expect? This guy's cut from the same cloth as Heinemann.
お前もな。
強化モジュールの設計はボーニングがやっていて、イーグルに対するアクティブイーグルって位置づけの機体になるらしいんだ。
Oh,
これは期待すんなって方が無理だろ？
that is a pretty good jump.
それだけじゃないぜ。どう考えたって今回の強化モジュール換装で開発が終わるわけじゃないだろ？さらにその先があると思うと楽しみでさ。
アクティブイーグルと比較試験をしてたのには、そういう裏があったってわけか。
けどさ、強化は結構だけど、その機体と優也の重りで振り回されるこっちの身にもなれっての。
あら、珍しいわ。タリサが弱音なんて。
じゃあ一度優也と組んでみな。こいつ機体をめちゃくちゃに振り回すもんだから、こっちはバイキー使うし、連携しづらいわですっげえ疲れんだよ。
Yeah, that does sound like a headache. And I think that's going to be one of his biggest Achilles heels when it comes to actual combat with Beta. Sure, you can push your performance to the limit, but recklessness really doesn't get you very far on a battlefield unless it's a quick grave. Reckless? Didn't you tell me before that was the best part of how I fly at TSF?
めちゃくちゃはめちゃくちゃなんだ。本能だけで操縦してんじゃねえよ。
You're the last person I want to hear that from, stupid Tiny.
さかったのでこっちみんな決めんだよ。
What are you talking about? You butt wipe. Next time we sortie, I'm leaving you a sobbing mess.
おいおい、お前ら声がでかすぎだぜ。周囲の迷惑考えろよな。
ああ、わかってるよ。
I wasn't kidding. Just wait and see.
まあ何にせよ、予備機含めてモジュール乾燥中は実機試験も休みになるだろうから、シミュレーター演習用のプログラムでもみっちりやり込んでおくんだな。
No. It's all the same to me. I don't care what kind of TSF the Type 94 second becomes. I'm gonna do the job and do it right.
それじゃあ新型に
To the new model.
新型に
All right. Let's see where we go. Imperial Royal Guard headquarters. Okay.
これは驚きましたな。いやはや、無理難題を簡単におっしゃられる。なるほど、それも高村家の血筋といったところですか。
あれとて無理は重々承知の上だろう。だからこそ、わざわざご足労願ったわけさ。対外交渉とその調整で、お前さんに勝る者は、この国には存在しないからな。
What is she asking for?
お褒めに預かり光栄ですが、それは中佐の買いかぶりです。私など外務省のお歴々に比べればとてもとても。
I wonder if this is Makoto.
正規ルートの外交であれば確かにな。だが裏の仕事となれば情報省、特にお前さんの部署の独壇場だろうよ。
確かに。ですが先進機密技術の塊である試作兵器を国外に持ち出すとなると、さすがにおいそれというわけにはいきません。
Oh. Oh, interesting. Is she maybe wanting to try and do a little flexing when they go to the actual battlefield, and she wants to bring out, like, the super railgun of Doom? That thing was crazy. Even just the simulator version of it, like, it's an insane system if that works.
ああ、その通りだ。市ヶ谷は当然のこと、霞ヶ関、大手町も絶対に許さないだろう。
でしょうな。
市ヶ谷までは何とか黙らせる自信はあるが、他はどうにもできない。だが、お前さんにはそれを何とかする手がある。例の新兵器開発は、お前さんが横浜から持ち込んだ話だったな。しかも、その心臓部はブラックボックスのまま提供されている。
Oh, the black box. Yeah. I remember those. Very vaguely, but I do remember. They're the keys to essentially beta technology. It's the black box is hiding a miniature, if I remember correctly, it's a miniature beta reactor, essentially. The G elements that have been activated and holding a charge. Essentially, they're co-opting what makes the lasers work for the beta and using it to power our own weapons. And that would explain why that railgun even works, because it breaks a lot of the rules that we understand.
おそらく量産化が叶った後も、その状況は変わるまい。横浜の女狐は、 そんなに甘くないだろうよ。
Oh, that's Yuko Sensei. I was like, Vixen of Yokohama. That sounds interesting.
だとすればだ。横浜絡みの口実さえあれば、連中を黙らせることができる。そして、お前さんならその橋渡しができる。
It's true. Working with Yuko it's gotta be such a headache. It'd be like, she's just like, oh, I'm just gonna do this impossible thing, and you're just gonna accept it. And they're like, but, and then she's like, no, I'm gonna break the rules, and I'm gonna make everything, your wildest dreams come true, but only if you let me do it in my timetable.
やれやれ。仕方ありませんな。
Oh, Yoroi. Like, Makoto Yoroi. That's right, that's the last name. Family name.
やってくれるか。
It's interesting seeing him here. Like, it's funny because, like, I was surprised that we didn't see Yoroi at all in the day after. Maybe in the next part they'll bring him back, because I just don't see him having perished and all of that. But maybe he did. A lot of people died in that collapse.
はい。他ならぬ中佐の頼み事を無下にはできませんからね。中佐、差し支えなければ。
なんだ。
大の政治嫌いで有名なあなたがそこまでされる覚悟を決めた理由。ぜひともお聞かせ願いたいものです。高村中尉の上申が理由というわけではないでしょう。いかに彼女が我が子同然とはいえ、あなたは公私混同するような方ではない。
XFJ 計画の成否は重要な分岐路だと俺は考えている。正面装備の選定にとどまらない大問題だ。だから何としても成し遂げなければならないのさ。
その心は、
ここで選択を誤れば、帝国はますます国粋主義という自家中毒の袋小路に迷い込み、やがて滅びの運命をたどるだろう。
Ooh, calling out what happens in the day after.
これは驚いた。この絵出身の陸軍高級将校とは思えないお言葉ですな。桑原。
好きなように取ればいいさ。だがな、今のままでは、民や将軍家だけではなく、皇帝陛下にまで厄災が及ぶ。
Interesting. Yeah, it's so cool. Like, obviously this was written before the day after, but it's so cool that, like, the threads of, like, the way the story was kind of going were already so well established.
だからこそ、国際共同開発の小さな成功を、過去の呪縛を断つ最初の人たちにするのさ。結果それは国家100年の経営に大きく影響する。俺はそう信じて動いているんだ。
Gotcha.
小さな成功とは、また随分と謙虚な物言いですな。かの計画で中佐が手に入れようとなさっているのは、そのような小物ではないでしょう。
何？
さしずめそれが市ヶ谷への手土産というわけですか。なるほど。それなら十分お釣りが来る。
Yeah, it's true. But, like, what are the consequences of doing this, though? Because, like, they're effectively having to do it underhandedly, and they have to directly, like, suppress the objections of other very powerful people. So even if this succeeds, and even if he doesn't intend it, it's going to be seen as a power move, which could mean that they're going to start angling against him just because he's kind of making what they might interpret as a play for power.
さすがだな。そこまで掴んでいるのか。だったらこれ以上の説明は不要だろう。俺の手札はもうない。オープンだ。
なるほど。中佐のお考えはよくわかりました。今のお話は聞かなかったことにしておきます。ご依頼の件はそれとは別に受けたまわりましたので、どうぞご安心を。
The colonel wants to upset the balance of power. Ironically, it seems like he doesn't want to upset it in the sense of, like, he wants to put himself up. He's worried about the current, like, trajectory of the country in general. Ooh, I wonder if he might be someone who's potentially corroborating with what will become the rebellious coup forces in the future of Alternative. Because he's kind of talking as if that were the case. And if he were on those sides and he somehow were able to, like, So he gets the super crazy weapon out into the field. And then what if surreptitiously it fell into the hands of these rebels who go to overthrow the current established pecking order? That really would have absolutely changed and probably would have destroyed everything, essentially. Like, can you imagine that the coup arc happening if they had the railgun, like, on the side of the forces of the rebels? Like, they nearly won just on their own skill alone. Like, imagine if they'd had cutting edge technology too.
また一つ借りができてしまったな。何はともあれよろしく頼む。
お任せください。一つ確認ですが、中佐。横浜を動かすとなると、かの麗しき女狐への供物が相当必要になりますが、その覚悟と準備は終わりでしょうね。
What would she be wanting from them?
ああ。
それは結構。では、早速動き始めるとしましょう。
Interesting.
ああ、そうそう。こんなタイミングで言うのもなんですが、私も近々中佐にお願いに上がるかもしれない案件がありまして。
断れないタイミングに言っておきながら、しかし。わかってるさ。借りはきっちり返す。何が望みだ？
相変わらずせっかちですな。今はまだ可能性の話ですので、いずれまた。
That's so dirty of Yoroi. Like, he literally, he cashes in future favors, getting people to agree to terms they don't even know yet. It's real effective. Definitely a very strategic thing to do, but God, is it dirty.
なんだもったいぶりよって。まあいい。どうせ、ろくな話じゃないんだろ。
いえいえ、それほど悪い話でも。ああ、そうだ。横浜への供物には最適かもしれませんね。
First day in Kamchikata. Upper deck of the assault TSF.
すげえ存在感だな、あの山。
Look at those wrecked ships just sitting in the harbor. Interesting. Alright. Guess we can go a little longer. Yeah.
けど、これがペトロパブロフスク・カムチャツキ基地。極東ソビエト戦線の要衝と謳われる軍港ね。
Yeah. The scenery can only be described as bleak. The muddy seas, the smell of rot decay brought in by the tides. The whole harbor is rusted over, abandoned warships rotting in the pier. And the cherry on top? The ship's broadcast said it's to be sunny today, but the sky is covered in gray clouds.
けど、こんなんでも、ここはまだ、俺たち人類の領域なんだ。
Looks like it barely held on to it, but yeah. That's right. The mountain over there wouldn't be towering over us if that wasn't the case.
Huh?
We're not sure why, but the beta always flatten any terrain they control. Reasonings aside, it's a cruel but effective way of instilling a sense of hopelessness in us, shattering our morale. Because even if we manage to wipe the bees out, the scenery our memories is gone for good.
な、気づいてたか。ここには海鳥が一羽もいねえ。
Well, would birds voluntarily want to live here? Maybe that's got something to do with the beta too?
だな。
When confronted with the reality head on, one can't help but marvel at just how dire the Soviet Union's mankind situation really is. Reading about it simply doesn't do it justice. Perceiving our desperate situation with all five senses really brings it home. Oh, you wait. You wait, Yuuya. Everyone in Argus has lost everything to this never-ending war. Italy, Nepal, Sweden, all ground to dust. Japan is one success story, and one success story, and the country still lost half its mainland.
祖国奪還の悲願を胸に戦う前線の同志に、より強力な戦術機を送り届ける。私たちはそのために、1秒でも早く計画を完遂する責務を負っている。
Exactly.
それは全てに優先する。西側でも当然それは同じだと思っていたが。
Kudiska words make a lot more sense now. Thinking back, my retort was just superficial bullcrap. Still, the single-mindedness of hers is counterproductive, and that's coming from me, the king of bullheadedness. Seems we really do have more in common than I thought. We're even dealing with the same problems. Wonder if the old me would have noticed. I've mellowed out quite a bit since coming to Yukon. Thank freaking goodness. You were such a blockhead. I was amazed that you even could understand complex interconnected emotions. I'm not planning to force a similar transformation on her, mind you, but I've definitely changed for the better. Why am I even thinking about how to look after other people when I'm about to see real live combat? Surely not because I'm trying to take my mind off things.
Yuuya, どうした?急に黙っちまって。
Nothing.
無理もねえか。現状の94セカンドで実戦試験ってだけでも不安があるのに。お前は実戦初経験だし。
I'm telling you, it's nothing.
ならいいけどさ。
Still, this view is such a downer, man. Wish they'd just, I don't know, ship us straight off to the front lines? Don't even give us the chance to let our minds wander?
お前らしい言葉だよ。
Anyway, shouldn't you be busy with our landing preparations? It's like, is it really okay for you to waste time with me?
俺らの出番はまだだよ。輸送艦の陸揚げが先だからな。
Ah, yeah. Well, spare parts, supplies, measurement equipment, and all sorts of goodies crammed up in there.
そういうことだな。
Very low energy reply, huh? See? I'm not the only one who could use a distraction. Look, I get it. I was looking forward to seeing how these enhanced modules perform too. Seriously, coming on an expedition all the way to Russia without the modules installed makes no sense to me, but we may as well roll with it.
いや、まあ、別にそれを引きずってるわけじゃないんだけど。
Is it the beta? The fact that they could be like right over that mountain right now? Okay, so what is it?
いや、俺も実戦経験ないからさ、緊張してたんだよ。けど、お前がそうやって割り切ってるのに、俺がおじけづいてちゃいけないよな。
At least Vincent's...
悪い悪い。
Again, Vincent's got his head in the right place. Sometimes I just have to man up and make your peace. If we screw the pooch here, the U.S. military's reputation will suffer. Or you die.
そうだな。
That's not really what's happening here, is it? Vincent's showing me around, checking up on me. We're both heading into a live battlefield for the first time, but Vincent somehow finds the time to put me first. Still, we both have our roles to play. Let's focus on doing the things only we can, to the best of our abilities. Sorry for being such a pain in the butt, but I promise you I've got this.
なんか面白いもんでも見つかったのかい、お二人さん。
さすがに甲板は冷えるね。
Hey, VG, and Joy, Tiny. You cold? Weird. Doesn't seem much colder than Alaska.
全然違うよ。鈍感だね、ゆうやは。
なんかこう、寒さの種類が違うような、刺すような冷たさっていうか
Maybe just because we're by the ocean, it's more humid. That makes a big difference.
ベータが手当たり次第に真っ平らにしちまうからな。
Oh, that also makes
気候が
sense.
激変しちまってるんだよ。
そうか。ユーコン基地より緯度が低いのに、同じくらいの気温ってのがもう。
ユーラシアはどこもこうさ。
これが戦場の空気ってやつだよ。
Oh, that's
ゆうや。
literally a gunfire.
あの山の向こうに戦場がある。今この瞬間も、ソビエト軍と極東国連軍が、ベータとの激しい戦闘を繰り広げてるんだ。
Oh, interesting. So if the battle we saw last part is actively happening now, they might sortie us like immediately. They'd be like, oh, we need help? Like, get out here. We're in the thick of it. Almost.
けど、山のこっちはレーザー級の心配がないから、戦場の空気っつっても穏やかなもんだけどな。
Yeah, that makes sense. Boss has told us there's no reason to worry about laser irradiation hitting Kamchatsky Bay from the continent. The eastern coast of the I don't know how to say that. Peninsula is protected by the Sea of Oshkosh. I can't do these words! Two mountains belts that run north and south of the peninsula. We're in the thick of it, but just barely. The difference between this place and the other side of the mountain is as stark as the difference between heaven and hell.
とはいえ、そもそも、エベンスクハイブからレーザー級が出てきたって話は聞かないんだけどな。
Yeah, that was interesting. If we're close enough to a hive, why haven't there been any?
でも、そんなの何の安心材料にもならないよ。第一理由が分かってないんだからさ。
新しいハイブだからっていうのがもっぱらの説だけど、実際はどうなんだろう。
さてな。奴らの考えることなんか、俺たちにはこれっぽっちも理解できねえよ。
まさか、敵襲か？
あれだよ。
Here comes some TSFs. Terminators? No. Zerverlisks? Why are they flying like that? They're not test pilots. There's no good reason for normal flight to fly in a regular over 3 TSF formation. Maybe they lack the personnel or resources to deploy full flight of 4, or they just lost one of their members. And they're flying pretty darn low too, right next to the mountain range. There's no laser class around, so shouldn't that take some altitude?
見て。
There's a lot of them coming. Oh, I see. It wasn't a single squad.
向こうから帰還してきたのね。
Yeah, I don't like that.
相当手ひどくやられたようだな。
元は、中隊かな？
That would mean that there are only 3 machines down, but if it was actually a battalion, they just lost 27 men.
おい、前から5番目、やべえぞ。
Oh, fetch me! Oh crap, that guy didn't bail out?
ええ。近接戦かなんかで、フレームが歪んでしまったんでしょうね。
Jeez.
胸部ブロックにタコスケの一撃とか食らったら、確実だしね、それ。
I've seen more TSFs crash and burn than I can count, but hits you differently when the results of actual combat engagement. Fetch me, man. What an intro.
ベータ大戦以前、
Oh.
人類はアメリカを盟主とする西側資本主義陣営とソビエト連邦を盟主とする東側共産主義に分かれ、地球を分断して対峙していた。
Interesting. All right, so it looks like it's doing a kind of intro thing. I'm gonna go ahead and stop it here. I might even like replay the audio next time for this, but this feels like a really good break point here because it's gonna break down kind of like what the situation is really looking like on the ground and kind of prelude us into this whole combat phase. So I'm really excited about that. Man, every time beta come up, it's always terrifying. We'll have to see how this all plays out, but I'm really excited to see what happens next week. Thank you so much for joining me today, and thanks you for joining me as always through this whole series. It's been really nice having your support, and considering the challenges I've been facing, it's really nice to have you all still being so engaged and so much a part of these journeys. I really appreciate it, especially to the patrons. Those of you who are giving your all to like help support the dream. It means the world to me. Helps me get art. Helps me get like just better positive changes on the channel overall. So I really appreciate each and every one of you. Keep it up, please. Thank you. I hope you have a wonderful start to your week. And until next video, watch me. If you see me next, I'll see you there.